Hi guys, and welcome to today's session on creating an image gallery using Bootstrap. This is Faizan from Great Learning. I welcome you all, and before we start, can you guys quickly confirm in the chat section if I'm audible or not? Please write yes, no, maybe in the chat section if I'm audible. Is there any noise that you are hearing so that we can get this session going? In the meanwhile, while we wait for others to join, Great Learning has come up with an initiative, Great Learning Academy, right? We all know about it, wherein we have 80 plus courses available. Right now they are for free, but after some time they won't be free. So you can register yourself for the courses that will suit you, and you guys, after the completion of your course, you will get a certification which you guys can put easily up to into your resumes and LinkedIn profiles, and also at the projects or assignments that you do, add those things to your resumes. Okay, so today's session we are going to deal with Bootstrap. If you don't have any idea with Bootstrap, after I will give you a little bit of idea what a Bootstrap is, what a CSS is, what is jQuery, what is JavaScript. Each and everything will be covered, but a little bit. Okay, just to give you a brief introduction about what is what. Okay, so now, okay, as I see some yeses in the chat section. Cool. So now let's get started. Okay, so what is the agenda, or what are the things that we are going to cover in this session? We are going to create an application or a website front end, a part of it, right? And it's an image gallery. Okay, so we are trying to cover it will take less than 45 minutes, but since we are trying to cover some other things as well, just to give you a brief idea about what is what, and so it might take 1 hour. Okay, so the timeline of this course is 1 hour, of this session is 1 hour. So now what are the things that we are going to cover is what is HTML. We will have an idea about what is an HTML, what is CSS, what is Bootstrap, what is JavaScript, what is jQuery, and then how to include jQueries and how to include your Bootstrap files and JavaScript files. Okay, then we will see our main application, that is the HTML file, the CSS file. Then we add some Bootstrap into it, and that's it. Okay, we are done, right? So before we start, can you guys quickly give me a yes, no, if any one of you is the guys who are familiar with most of these topics, right? So just give me a HTML/CSS/Bootstrap so that I will get an idea who is knowing what. Okay, quickly. Quickly, guys. So just write HTML/CSS/JavaScript. You know these things. Only the things that you know, type it in the chat section. If you don't know nothing, it's okay. Just write no. Okay. Okay, HTML, CSS. Okay. Okay. Narula Kumar says. Manoranjan Kumar says. Yes, he knows all of it. Okay, great. So now without wasting any further time, so now let's see one by one what are these things. Okay, so the first thing is HTML, right? So what does an HTML stands for? It stands for hypertext markup language, right? So hypertext, what does it mean? It means linking between your web pages, right? If you're trying to move across your pages, right? What is a website? Is nothing but a collection of web pages. So if you try to move from one page to another, you use this hypertext, helps you there. Okay, it helps you to move from one link to another link, that is from one page to another page. And what is a markup language? The text between your tags which defines the structure, right? What is a structure? Actually, the HTML deals with whatever you see on your website. It defines the structure of your website, right? Everything that you see, paragraph tags, this tag, that tag, right? So all of this structure is defined by HTML. Okay, it is a language to create web pages, right? If you want to create web pages, which is your go to language? It's HTML, right? So HTML defines how your web page looks and how to display the content with the help of elements. What do you mean by elements? It's nothing but anything that contains the starting tag, the ending tag, the content, the attributes, properties, all those things. will form an element. If you have no idea what is HTML entirely, nothing, you know nothing about HTML, I have myself taken a session on HTML. You guys can check it. It's around 1 hour. Okay, you guys can quickly check it after this session is over. Okay, so that you will understand each and everything. So it's a brief. It will cover all the basic things, right? So that you can. Actually, it will cover all the things, but yeah, if there are 100 elements in HTML, I am teaching only to 10, right? So rest, most of the time when you talk about HTML page, when you talk about websites, only 15 to 20 elements are required. Rest once in a while, once in a blue moon, use those HTML. Okay, the other HTML tags. Okay, so now this is what HTML it forms and defines the web page. Okay, it forms the structure of your web page, right? And also, if you want to save this file, you will use .html extension. So this is whole what an HTML is, right? In a nutshell, HTML defines the structure of your web page. If you see, if you consider this YouTube a website kind of a thing, the things that you see on your YouTube, right? There's a icon, there's a jumbotron, there you will see some icons here and there you'll see a profile picture and all those things, right? So all those things are formed actually by HTML. Okay, so this is what an HTML is. So it defines a structure. Now, if you're dealing with coloring the things, right? You want to color, you want to make it presentable, you will use CSS. Now, CSS stands for cascading style sheets, right? If HTML is the structure of the house, then CSS is its look and feel of the house, right? How you define yourself, how you want your coloring, right? If you see the Great Learning logo that I'm having, I'm using blue colors, right? For the text I'm using black color, right? And for YouTube, if you see the icon that is having some red color in it, right? So all of these coloring, these beautifications that we make our website more presentable is done with the help of CSS, right? It's designed to make style sheets for the web, right? Style sheets. We are styling our web pages, right? That's it. That is what is CSS. Okay. Now let's break this acronym that we have, CSS. So cascading means falling off styles. We will see why some styles fall off, because if you're applying same style on an element, right? If you're applying same style, right? Let's suppose you are targeting same element, right? You're targeting paragraph tag and you are applying with 3 different ways. You are applying color. You are changing the text color of this paragraph. Now some of the styles will fall off. Obviously, if you are applying red color, green color and blue color, the way you write will affect the way you write your CSS will affect how this paragraph that is written will change its text color. So some of the styles will fall off. Obviously, not green, not red, not white. Whatever is the priority there will be the text color of that paragraph. You got the point. So it basically means that we are trimming down some of the styles, right? Some of the styles are falling off. Okay, because that is what you mean by cascading. You will understand this once you if you know if you have some idea about how to the selectors, right? You can select IDs, you can select tags, you can select with the help of classes. So if you apply same if you target the same element in 3 different ways, which one will have priority? Obviously the one that is written. If you're trying to write the IDs will have the highest priority. The IDs will have highest priority when you talk about tags, IDs and classes. So tag ID, if you change your property, if you change any text property with the help of ID, that will be affected. So that means cascading, right? Falling of the styles. And now what do you mean by style? It's adding designs and styling on your on our HTML tags. We will add styles. Okay. And what do you mean by sheets? So we will be having different sheets, right? Obviously now CSS and HTML, in this we will be dealing with what? Separation of concerns, right? If you have an HTML file, you have a CSS file, you will make a separate file of it, right? That is what you mean by style documents. So you have a different style documents so that you can apply those styles on any other web page as well. Okay, so this is in a nutshell CSS. That means you are just adding styles to your web page. Okay, got this point? Until this point we have only studied HTML a little bit and CSS. Again, I have myself taken a session on CSS. You can also check that session as well. Okay, so it's a separate session wherein I have taught everything that you should know to get started. So for both HTML as well as CSS, right? So now quickly give me a confirmation if I am audible, if everything is clear. Quickly guys. So now let's talk about what is a bootstrap. So now you might be thinking, okay sir, let's see, is there any way with which we can just use someone let's suppose you are having a friend and he used some styling and you thought, okay, this is a good style, this is a good he has used great coloring on his website and I want to use the same, right? So he has created a CSS file and he has published it, right? Or he has uploaded it on the internet, right? Can you use that file? Okay, if you want to use that file, so Bootstrap does that thing for you. So it is nothing but the code that is written by someone else, and you're just going to include that code in your CSS, in your HTML page. That's it. You're using someone else styling in your own website. That's it, what a Bootstrap is in a nutshell. So Bootstrap is nothing but a front-end framework of CSS. It's a CSS framework, and it is also used for creating user interfaces, that is the look and feel, all those things. It's a pre-written code, that is, it is written by someone else in HTML. Obviously there will be HTML, there will be CSS, and there will be some JavaScript, because with the help of JavaScript we can do some styling as well. JavaScript helps in styling. So what are the applications? Applications again range from web development, mobile development. It's very easy, simple, and very responsive. What do you mean by responsive? If you just minimize your screen, if you just play around with your screen, okay, you just minimize the screen, we have some pixel length, right? If 1000 pixel is the large screen, then 500 will be small, and 200 maybe, I'm just giving you some gibberish pixels, right? If 100 is the large screen, 50 will be the small, and 20 will be extra small. So these pixels, right, these pixel lengths, right? So we will this is what you mean by responsiveness. As soon as I am decreasing the size of my website, it will change accordingly. So this responsiveness, Bootstrap is responsible for this responsiveness of your website, right? Does it make sense? So again, if you don't understand anything about Bootstrap, if you got the idea that it is just the code, a CSS code that is written by someone else, that's it. Okay. Now again, if you don't have any idea of Bootstrap, what a Bootstrap is, again, I have taken myself a session on it as well. Okay. Again, it is a 1-hour session, just like CSS and HTML. You can just check it. Okay. That's it. Okay. You will get a whole intuition what a Bootstrap is. Okay. So again, I told you that we are going to use some JavaScript, right? Again, there is a session on JavaScript as well. So what is JavaScript? JavaScript is nothing but a web page that define anything that you define, any actions that you perform on your web page is done with the help of JavaScript. It's an object-oriented programming language that uses just-in-time compiler. What do you mean by just-in-time compiler? Nothing but we are taking into consideration both things, the compiler as well as the interpreter. And what are the best things in those are present in your JIT compiler. That's it in a nutshell. Okay, it's everywhere, and all the web browsers are installed with it. Okay. Where do you run your JavaScript code? It's in the browser, right? You can run it on the server. For that we need Node.js, right? It's the only language, only the programming language which has these features that you can use it on the front end as well as on the back end. In the front end you can use JavaScript or any other libraries, right? React or frameworks like Angular, or you can use it on the back end. What do we have? And on the back end we have Node.js, right? So again, it uses JavaScript, right? So this is what JavaScript is. It's easy, simple, and very compatible with HTML and CSS. It's a must-to-have skill if you're planning to go into software engineering roles. It's a must-to-have skill, as you will be having. If you're going onto a full stack, then it is absolutely necessary, right, to learn JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript, its application range from web development to mobile development, just like what we read in Bootstrap. Okay, so application is always there. So why do we need JavaScript in this Bootstrap? Because some of the components use Bootstrap. What do you mean by components? It's again a different ball game, right? So this some components of ours that are present in Bootstrap. What are the components? Just like you want to add a navigation bar, or you want to add a footer, or you want to add a block code that is written by someone else. You don't want to write that code. You just want to you will write that code. You will write that paragraph, right? You are writing that paragraph, but you want to add styles that are done by someone else. Just like navigation bar, you have a navigation bar. If you observe your YouTube carefully, the top line, that is the first line of your website or the first content of your website, is nothing but a navigation bar wherein you will navigate. Okay, we'll see what a navigation bar is in this session, and we'll try to create that. It's one of the components, okay, of what Bootstrap, you have a component that is named navigation bar, and what that is navigation bar. Okay, so that is if you want to add that, you will use nav class, that is navbar class, and we can add it in our HTML file. That's it. Okay, so this is what a JavaScript is, and we will see how why some components and what are the components that are dependent on JavaScript. They use JavaScript in the backend. Okay, not only this JavaScript they use some libraries of JavaScript as well in the Bootstrap. So what is the library? That is jQuery. Okay, so jQuery is a powerful JavaScript library. It makes our DOM manipulation, that is nothing but selecting our elements. It makes it very easy to select those elements and apply changes on it. Okay, selecting elements, manipulating elements, changing elements. Elements are nothing but the elements that we were talking about when we talk about what HTML. Those elements we are talking about. Okay, changing styles, adding elements, all those things. Okay. Vaishnavi, you don't have to worry, just go through the session again once it is uploaded. Okay, don't worry, you can just continue. Right now we were only talking about what are the things that we should know, and obviously the things that you should know are HTML, right? I have a session, individual session. There is a session on HTML, there's a session on CSS, 1 hour session both. There's a session on Bootstrap as well, and there's a session on JavaScript. And now we were talking about jQuery. There is no session right now, but soon we are going to upload a session, or we are going to talk about this jQuery as well. So it is a JavaScript library that is used to change to manipulate your elements. Okay, elements are nothing but what? Your HTML tags. Okay, so library. What is a library? It's nothing the code written by someone else, and we can use it inside our project, just like what we do in Bootstrap. The code that is written by someone else, and you can use it. Okay, who maintains CSS specification? Manoranjan says, who maintains CSS specifications? Are you talking about the specifications that is the IDs and all those things? How it is different from Python? Treasure Trove says how it's different. What is different from Python? JavaScript or any other? That is a programming language. That is a different programming language. That is a backend programming language. And JavaScript is a front-end programming language wherein we will define just the actions. Okay. And if you want to do something on the server side, you use Python, you use Java. But Node.js is the only JavaScript library, right, that uses JavaScript. Obviously, that uses JavaScript, Node.js. So you can use that on the server side. For server side, anything you want to do on the server side, you use Python, you use Java. Okay. So Manoranjan, can you be more specific what you're talking about? So this is what a jQuery is. Okay, so now how do you include these files? You will just download the jQuery, that is on the website is jQuery.com. okay, you will just download that, and you add that link. Okay, the CD, you will add that link. In what are the uses of Bootstrap? Bootstrap, the uses are simple, right? So the uses are simple, Vikas. So you're not explaining well, I'm not understanding. Okay, so these things right now I won't be able to explain you each and everything in detail, Subhudeep, right? If you want to understand each and everything in detail, there are individual sessions that I have taken. I just want you guys to just give a brief introduction about what is what. That's it. It is just covering what, not it's not covering why and how you do it. It's just what is this thing, right? HTML defines the structure of your page, that's it. And how you do that thing, that's a different ball game, right? Subhadeep, now CSS, what is CSS? CSS is nothing but adding styles to your HTML page, which you define with the help of HTML. Okay, so right, so this is what a CSS is. Now what are the uses of Bootstrap? Anything that you can do with CSS can be done with Bootstrap, or vice versa, right? So Bootstrap makes your life easier as a developer, right? Is if anything is given to you, right? If let's talk about mannequins, right? Front end or back end, where should I start creating website? First you will deal with Manoj. Obviously you will start from front end part of it, right? Only then you will decide, okay, what is the back end language that you're going to use, if you are familiar with anyone. Okay, so the front end will be there. Okay, the purpose of jQuery is just to add in our project without knowing in details much. jQuery is built upon on top of HTML and CSS. It's just created to make our life easier. So Mayur says the purpose of jQuery is just to add in a project without knowing in detail much as jQuery is built upon HTML. No. Got it wrong. So basically, what a jQuery is, it's nothing but a JavaScript library, right? What is JavaScript used for? The same use as the same specifications, whatever is done by jQuery, right? There is another faculty member that deals with cloud. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so Mayur says jQuery, anything that you do with the help of, let's suppose you are talking about JavaScript and you want to build something, that you want to perform some actions, right? Whatever you do with the help of JavaScript can be done with the help of jQuery. So again, it is some, right? It is again jQuery run Java library. No, it's nothing. jQuery has nothing to do with Java. It's a JavaScript library. There is a huge difference between a Java and a JavaScript. Okay, so now where was I? Yeah, any actions that you perform can be done. It will take some amount of lines, right? It will take a good decent amount of code to change the elements, to manipulate your elements with the help of JavaScript. So there are some libraries which deal with those changes, and they are just wherein you will just include something in your HTML file, and that will take care of your those. Okay, so jQuery is for making your site. No, Mayur. So for making your website responsive, right? You can say that obviously jQuery is also JavaScript is also there to make your website responsive and interactive, right? So if you want to deal, if you want to know the specifications or exactly who is responsible for your responsiveness of your website, it is what? It is Bootstrap. It makes your you're going just here and there, Mayur. So Bootstrap is the one that makes your website responsive. So what is responsiveness? It is nothing but if you have this website, right? Bootstrap.com, get Bootstrap. Now if you see, this is the responsiveness. Now if I close this bar, this is a large screen. As soon as I hit what? As soon as I hit this medium one, so everything changes. Now exactly. So now if I go on to the small screen, that this is the small screen. Now you see I got this icon, I got this this hamburger sign, and everything is in fall under this. So this is what we didn't do anything, we just included some of the components and that's it. So this is what Bootstrap does. So it creates a more responsive website, right? So now let's continue. Right, this is what a Bootstrap does, this is what a jQuery does. How do you include? There are two ways. You either download the file and include the link, just like we include our JavaScript in our HTML files. You include those things. We have two versions of it. One is production version, which is minified and compressed. That means the variable names will be smaller, right? We'll use A, B, C, just like that, variable names, without getting into the name or what if usually what a convention is, that you name a variable according to the need of your program. Let's suppose you're counting, you will name your variable count. But in minified version, we don't use that kind of a convention. We just use C. For counting, we use C, and it's compressed. That means all the spacing has been removed. If we are talking about production version of that link, okay. If it is development, it's more readable and uncompressed. So there will be a proper alignment of all those things. But you can also use a CDN, that is content delivery network. That is the code that is written by someone else and it is hoisted, right? So it is easier and simpler. You can just copy paste the code and copy paste the link and include it in your HTML file, right? And that's it. Just paste the URL. It's less faster. Why is it less faster? Obviously, when you're fetching something from the server, right, it takes time as compared to if something is on your local system, which is the case if you're downloading the jQuery file, right? But okay, now this is how you include jQuery, right? So now what are the files that we are going to add in our the application that we are going to create, the image gallery? We are going to add Bootstrap, right? How do you add Bootstrap? So what is your task here? I'm going to use Bootstrap 3. Now your task is to do and convert it into Bootstrap 4, okay? So now why I'm using this thing? So that you can learn. Okay, that's it. That's the only reason. It's simple. It's copy paste thing, right? Bootstrap is nothing but you want to include. You just want to know what you want. Okay, from what you want in your website, right? So now let's get started with the coding a little bit. Let's code a little bit. So first we will create an HTML page, right? Let me save this file. Right, let's save this file and let's call it what? And let's save it on the desktop and let's call it image hyphen gal dot html, image gallery. That's it. Okay. Yeah, Manoranjan, we will cover that thing in demo part. We will be dealing something with Navbar and different components. That's grid system. We will be dealing with Jumbotron, all those things. Okay. So now this is our HTML file and let's create an HTML file first. This is what I did. I just pressed HTML and then I pressed the tab. That's it. It gave me this auto completion, right? So now let's call this title. Let's name it image hyphen gallery. This is the title of our. Okay. So this is the title and now I want to include these CDNs, right? I want to include these files, right? This bootstrap links, or I want to add these files in my HTML file. First thing is this, that I want to add these things in my HTML file. So why I'm adding these? So that I can get bootstrap. I can get components which I don't want to write. I can get easily access to those components, just like Navbar, all those things. I don't want to use CSS. I want that someone else code and I want to use that because it's already present. Why would I have the pain to write those things, right? That is what Bootstrap does. It reduces your pain, right? So now what I'm going to add those links. So what are the links? How do you get those links? So you open this and this is the version 3 that I'm using. You will use your version 4 and you will convert your image gallery into your version 4 and then add up into your resumes. Okay, this will be a fun exercise, right? So how do you go? You will just go here and get started and you will add the links that will be present. Also, if you don't find these links, you can always refer to the slide deck that I have shared with you guys. Okay, so these are the links that we are going to include. Okay, you will get these things from here. Okay, so now you will see there will be something, what are the components that are dependent on. Okay, let me go on version 4 and let me show you guys one thing. So why I was saying that Bootstrap uses JavaScript, if you see, it says that show components, you will see here, right? Show components requiring JavaScript. So these components that are present in Bootstrap, these components that are present in the Bootstrap are using JavaScript. Okay, there's another popper.js which is used for alignment, all those things. So right now we won't be talking about popper.js. Okay, so now these are the components, these alerts, buttons, collapse, drop downs, right? Navbars, these all use JavaScript. So we don't want something that is not working and we want to include that thing in our file. So what we will do, we will include both the Bootstrap files as well as the links in our web page. So this is the Bootstrap link. Okay, it's also shared with you guys. Okay, so I've added it in the Bootstrap. Okay, that's it. This is the link that I was talking about. So Bootstrap is added, right? So if you see, if I open this file, that is what I included in here, right? I will just copy this thing and I will show you what is actually present in this file. Okay, this is a CSS. Okay, so if you see what is present in this Bootstrap, and what is this bootstrap.min.css, it's a minified version. Okay, so all the spacing is gone and it's not readable at all. And if you see these things, right, you see box sizing, CSS properties, box sizing, border box, right? You see margin bottom 5 rem. What is the rem? It's nothing but 16 pixels, right? So 1 rem is equal to 16 pixel. Font size 80%. All the this is CSS, right? This is what a CDN means. Now what did we do? We just included this line of code and we will include it in our website, in our HTML page. That's it. What I did. So I'm using here a version 3 CDN. You will use version 4, and once you will understand this thing, you will just convert it with the help of CDN with the help of Bootstrap 4. Now you try it on your own. Okay, I'm using Bootstrap 3, and that is intentional. Okay, now will we, okay, so now we have added this Bootstrap. Now I want to add one more thing, that is my own CSS that I will be writing. Okay, so I want to do some curling and all those things. How do you write your own CSS? You just add your link tag here, right? You just write link and you press a tab, and then you give the reference of the file that you want to add. Let's suppose I want to add image dot css. This is my file, and I will create some CSS on my own as well. This is something that I borrowed from someone, right? And I will be using some components that he built, and I will be using some styling that I will do. Okay, simple, fair enough, right? So this is image.css that I'm going to build, and these are the two CSS files, right? Now I will be also adding some JavaScript, because some of my components that are in Bootstrap will be dependent on it, right? So again, I will be using jQuery, because some of my components are dependent on what? JavaScript, and some of the components that are in JavaScript depend on what? jQuery, because it's nothing but a JavaScript library. Again, we made our life easier. JavaScript made its life easier with the help of what? jQuery, right? So we include these two script files. Okay, so just to be on the safe side, that all our components which are dependent on JavaScript will be included in our website. That's it. Will be included in our HTML page. Okay, that's it. We included our two JavaScript files. Okay, that's it. We did it. So these are our two files. We have added two JavaScript files. Okay, so now we are done with adding the files. Okay, so we have added both the files. Again, let's go back to our, so now we have added both the files, both the links of our of CSS that is written by someone else, and the CSS that we are going to build. And we are adding some JavaScript files, because some of my components, as I read just now, that some of my Bootstrap components are dependent on what? They are dependent on JavaScript. So JavaScript is nothing. JavaScript internally also uses jQuery, which is nothing but a library of JavaScript. Okay, that's it. So we added these files. Now we created this HTML file of ours, right? We had a body tag, right? If you don't know anything about these tags as well, so let me just give a brief introduction about what is what. Okay, so this is this is one complete element. Okay, this is an element, right? This is a complete element. This is a title tag, and this is its opening tag, this is its closing tag, and anything that you write is content, right? So as a whole, this is called element, and these are called tags. Okay, what? Title tags, link tags, okay, head tags, these are all tags. Okay, so what does this line of code do? This is a way to tell your browser that you are using HTML5. The version is HTML5. Now this is the root element, and everything that you write comes under this HTML tag. Okay, if I remove all those things, you see everything that I wrote earlier was in this HTML tag. Okay, so now after that, this is the root element. Now after that, it will be always, there will be the permitted content, that is content allowed in HTML, is that in this HTML tag is that there will be a head tag followed by a body tag always. Okay, and all the links and all the information about your document, the links, the scripts, the titles will come under head tag. It will never be rendered on your browser. Okay, that's the one thing. All the things that you write in your head tag will never be rendered. Okay, what is the significance of this title? It will be present. If I save this file, it will be present always in your this introduction to Bootstrap. You see this title, this comes from the you see this name, introduction to Bootstrap 4.5. so this comes with the help of this title tag. Okay, if you try to find something, let's call MDN, let's try to find MDN elements. Okay, MDN elements are there. Okay, now if you try to find this thing, anything that you search, okay, now we click on this link. Now you see the link I clicked on, it is the name here, right? And if I go and inspect this element, I will see that this link that I've got on the search menu is where did it come from? If I just minimize, and I hope this is visible to you guys, right? So you see, let me just minimize it a little bit. Okay, so now if you see this here we have our head tag, and if you see in our head tag, you see the title, and you see the title here. I have highlighted it, and I will just increase its size. Okay, I lost it. Yeah, you see the title, it's HTML elements reference HTML, then a colon, then a hypertext markup language, then slash MDN. And now if I search again MDN elements, right, I will get this same name in the search menu. Okay, you see the same name. Now where did this come from? This will come now we know that this came from this title tag, okay, that we have in here. Okay, this is responsible for these links. Okay, so now you know a little bit about title tag, why it is important, and what is its use and significance and all those things, right? So this is a title tag, this is a link tag that we will be adding some CSS, and this is my own CSS, this is the CSS that someone else has written. Okay, then we have this head tag. Okay, completed. This will never be rendered on our website. Now these script tags are nothing but the scripts that Bootstrap will be using, and we added it in our body tag. So anything that you write in your body tag will be always rendered on your screen on your website. Okay, that's it. Okay, now it is always followed by after the head tag will come your body tag. Okay, so now this is all about this is all about the HTML page that we just created. Okay, so now let's see what is the next thing that we do. Now we will be creating what we have added our links. Now what we will doing, we will be adding some CSS. Okay, now since we don't have any elements as of now, I will come back to what CSS or what is the CSS that I'm going to use. For now, let's skip this CSS, and now let's try to add this Jumbotron and Grid. So these are two components in obviously in Bootstrap. That what is Jumbotron? Jumbotron is nothing but, if I talk about Jumbotron, what is a Jumbotron? I will just go open and to get the official website of Bootstrap, you just go in on and you just type getbootstrap.com. That's it. Okay, so now what is this Jumbotron and what is this Grid system? Grid system is basically dividing. If you want to divide, basically, if you talk about grid system, it's nothing but you are dividing your whole width of your screen into 12 parts, right? And now you want to deal with those 12 parts individually, okay? Or you can combine 2 or 3 parts together. That is what we mean by a grid system. That is simple enough, right? This is the simplest definition one can give you, right? So now if you go on to layout, and if you in this, it's a little bit slower. So Manoj, I think you are going with you are checking the PDF. So thumbnails is nothing but we are just, I will show you if I remove the thumbnails and what will happen, and if I keep the thumbnails then what will happen. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, so now we have our grid system here. Now if you check its definition, official, this is the official website of Bootstrap. It says that it's useful for Flexbox, or that's a different thing. Anything that we did earlier with the help of Flexbox. There is a Flexbox called that is a Flexbox is with that can we display code in Bootstrap? It's just to add style, Manoranjan. Just to add, we are just adding styles to the components that are already there. Okay, you will see that what is the code that we write in Bootstrap. You don't worry about it. Okay, it's just a styling language, right? So what is the Flexbox? It's nothing but what we used to do earlier when we don't have Bootstrap. We used to deal with Flexbox and all the things that we do with Flexbox. Now we can easily do with the help of grid system. Okay. Okay. Again, it happened. Voice is echoing. Okay. So now anything that we do with the help of grid system, right? It can be done with the help of Flexbox, right? So it will be always enter, if you want to enter anything, it will be always if you want to include this grid system, right, it will be always included in the container, so that we can have it. Is my voice still echoing, guys? Quickly. Quickly write yes, no, maybe. Okay, Manoranjan says we are good. Cool. So now what we will do, we will just include these things. Okay, so grid system is nothing. If you want to know, okay, if you want to know more detail about what is a grid system, what is a Jumbotron, refer to my Bootstrap course. Okay, refer to my Bootstrap session. Right now I'm just going to give you an upper idea, just a brief introduction about what is what. Okay, so grid system is nothing that you are dividing your screen into 12 parts, 12 columns. Okay, and now how do you divide it? We will use a container. Container is nothing but it will contain, it will just contain all of your content, right? It will just like a container, right? And then you can just pad it. Okay, you can just remove the spacing, you can add spacing, you can just centralize your text. That is what a container is. Simple enough, right? Let's talk about some container. If you have a container at your home, right, what does it contains the things, and so that it is easier for you to pick it up here and there, and you can add things, you can put it anywhere, right? It's easier for you, right? So simple. So similarly, what is a container? This is what a container does. It will give you some padding, it will add some spacing, it will add some it will make it centralized. That is what a container does. So grid will always work if you use a container. Then there is a class row you have to add if you want to implement this grid, right? In your HTML page, you will always use this grid. And then what is this class row? It's nothing but everything that you write in your container, right? In your anything you want to write, you have to write it within this class row. Okay, then we divide our columns, that is 12, right? If you see that this SM sign is for small, and this column size is for small, this column size is again small. So what is it? And I will tell you what is what. Okay, so now let's let's do one thing. Let's try to include this thing, that is nothing but I have included, select all, and I will copy. Now I will use this thing, okay, in here in the body. Okay, right? So now what I did, in our body I used this same class container, right? And I used this class called Jumbotron. Now what is a Jumbotron? If you open any website, right, Jumbotron is nothing. Let me go open components and give you a brief definition of it. Okay, what a Jumbotron is, again in the official website. So Jumbotron, if you see, it's a lightweight flexible component that optionally extends the entire viewport. Okay, this will extend to your entire viewport to showcase the key marketing message of your website, right? What is the key marketing website? If you talk about any website, right, let's talk about this Bootstrap, official website of Bootstrap, right? You see, when I open this is the marketing message: build fast responsive sites with Bootstrap, right? This is nothing but a Jumbotron. Okay, then you have an image here, you have this content here, then there's this some set of lines, then we have buttons, get started, then download button is there. Currently we are using this version, he has used this image, then there is an ad. So this is the marketing message, right? So this is what a Jumbotron is, and it will contain nothing but it will give you like content like this, right? There will be a background gray, right, in it, and there will be some text. This will be a heading tag, and this the display of this will be changed. The display, what do you mean by display? That you are customizing your h1 tag, okay, by using a class called display1, and it will just increase its font, and it will just use different font size family, all those things. So basically dealing with the how it looks, presentation. That's what a Bootstrap is, right? So now after that there will be a paragraph, then we are using a horizontal row here, then again we are using some paragraph here, and then we have a button. You see, the class here is your h1 tag, and we are customizing it with the help of display4. Then we have a paragraph tag, right? We are using a class lead, so that you see the content here and here, it is different, right? There is a different way that there's a different font family, there's a different font size in these two, right? Then we have a paragraph. This is simple paragraph, right? We haven't used anything. Now you see the difference between a simple paragraph and the one in which we used class lead. Okay, makes sense, right? Then we have an anchor tag here, and we are just using it seems like a button, but we are using a link here, and we are changing its background. This BTN primary means this is a color, that blue color that you get. Okay, the button is large, this BTN LG means large, and we are using a class button. Okay, and href is that okay, the once you will click on it, where you will go nowhere, right? Because it is going nowhere. Hash means that we are not going, we are going to be there at wherever we will be there. Okay, and then we have a roll button. So this is for screen readers, right? The ones who are impaired, right, physically impaired, the ones who can't see. For those, the screen readers are available, and for those it will be referred to them. This is the button, and once you will click on it, okay, then it will do some things. Okay, so this is what a Jumbotron is, right? And now what is our Jumbotron doing? It's doing nothing. So we are adding a div tag here, okay, and it's we are adding a Jumbotron, and in that Jumbotron we are writing h1 tag. That is, we are not using that display some class display. Okay, we're not using that. Okay, we're just keeping it simple. Okay, we are using a simple head h1 tag and we're using a paragraph tag. That's it. Okay, and then we are closing our jumbotron. This is what a jumbotron is. A marketing message is this, as this is an image gallery and these are some beautiful cats enjoying themselves. Okay, that's it. Okay, now everything that we wrote so jumbotron bootstrap can be used for increasing size and headings, increasing margins, landing page, basically your marketing message, Manoranjan. This is your marketing message, whatever you feel right. If you want to add something, it will be visible to you guys, right? If you see this the official website of Bootstrap, right, that we saw, right? So we saw that there was some content there and built fast responsive websites with Bootstrap, right? So that was a marketing message there, right? Similarly, you can add those things in your website. So in my case, we are creating an image gallery, so we just added these two lines. Okay, that's it. So now this is what your div tag does. Okay, this is what a jumbotron is. Now once we have added a jumbotron, now we will be dealing with what, our grid system. So now we will divide our web page into 12 parts. Now what does these two things do? I told you guys, anything the content related, if you have any information related to your content, it will go in your class row. You have to include your class, that is row, right? And then this column large 4 and column small 6. So now what does this mean? This means I am making my website responsive. When the screen is large, you divide each how many columns you will give to this class? 4 when the screen is large. When the screen is small, you give him 6. Okay, as soon as my width is shrinking, right, it will have 6 columns to itself, right? If it's extra small, that entire 12 columns will be of this class, and it will come vertical. It will come vertically for all the other things. Okay, so now let's someone was saying that what a thumbnail does. I will show you what a thumbnail does. Let's remove this class for now. Okay, so now this is done, and now we added an image, right? I just downloaded, this is the URL of some image, right? I will just show you how to include this. This is the image tag, and I just wrote cat images. That's it, cat images. It just gave me some images of cats. It's a bit slow, just a minute, guys. So we have this cat, okay, this beautiful cat here, and I just copied the image address, and that's it. I will be including the same address here. Okay, just a minute, I'll just remove whatever was there, and I just added this address. Okay, and then after that I close this div tag. Okay, now this is the complete one. This is the complete one image that I will be having. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build some more images. I'm going to add 9 more images. Okay, I will use the same image. You can add different images. Basically, we're building an image gallery, so you can add different images. For simplicity, I will be adding same thing. 9 times. Okay, 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, we have 7, we have 8, we have 9. Okay, we saved this file. We just added jumbotron and grid system, and now let's save this file, and now finally give our first shot of running this website. Okay, so where was it? It will be on the desktop, and let me just double click on image.gallery. Okay, so this is how it looks. Okay, so this is our marketing message, the image gallery. These are some beautiful cats enjoying themselves. So we have only one cat, but I have added it several times. Okay, so now you see this padding, this all those things that is done with the help of what, your this grid system. Okay, now someone was saying, so what does a thumbnail do? So you see, you just keep this thing in mind. You don't have any borders over here, and these images look as if they are connected with itself, right? So now I don't want that. I will add a class that is called thumbnail. Okay, I will add a class that is called thumbnail, and I will save this file. Have I saved this file? Yes, I have. I will save this file and I will run this. Now you see these images are separated. Okay, now what I did, I only added it to 1, right? I added this class only to 1, so I have to add this class to all the other divs as well. So I need to add this to all the divs, so all the divs will have the same thing. 2, 3, then we have 4, and then we have 5, then we have 6, 7, 8. I missed something. 1, 2, 3, and here. Okay, cool. So now let's save this file and now let's run this. And now you'll see, now it's much more beautiful. It looks much more attractive, as now it doesn't look connected. These looks like these are separate images that we have. So this is a jumbotron, this is our grid system. Now I was talking something about the screen, this what I meant by responsiveness. Okay, so you see, this is my large screen. Okay, now we have all the 3 images in it, right? Because in each we have divided it in 12. We have a container wherein we have 3 rows, right? And each row is divided into 12 components. Each row have 12 components, and each 12 component is divided into 4 components. So this first one will take 4, second one will take 4, the third one will take 4. Now if I decrease the pixel size, now you see we are still on large, and now we were on medium. This is a medium screen. Okay, now you see it got changed to 2. That means this is taking 6 and this has taken 6. That is what I meant by the small screen. Okay, now this is my small screen, this is my small screen, this is my small screen, and as soon as I hit this extra small screen, it took all the 12 components. Okay, now even if I'm reducing it by here, so even on that won't be affected, right? So this is what I mean by responsiveness. Now you have all the 12 which are aligned one after another. Okay, so this is a jumbotron, that is the marketing message, and this is your that grid system. Okay, so now we are done with these 2 things. Now what is left? Now we want that in that navigation bar, which is most important, right? We want the navigation bar in our website, right? What is a navigation bar? It is nothing but what? Let me show you some websites. So if you go on to this jumbotron, you have this home documentation, you have this image B, right? You have this home documentation on the left side, then you have something on the right side. So you want this navigation bar on your image gallery. Okay, so now how do we do it? So we will add a navigation bar. So what do we add? Let me just show you. We add this much code, and we just copied it, and we'll just put it here, and we'll put it here. Okay, let's save this, and now let's run this thing. Okay, so now let me then demystify how we did it. Okay, so now when I run this thing, I got this beautiful image gallery. Okay, one thing, something is so now you see I have changed the URL, and I'll just copy that thing, and now you see this was something that we did from grid system, and this was something that we did from jumbotron, right? And now this, you see the nav bar, right? We have some text, we have this image here, and then we have about, contact us, sign up on the left side. How did we do this thing? Okay, now let's try to run this thing, and let's try to visualize this nav bar. So we have written something, the class nav bar. So this is the class that you will add inside your nav tag. Okay, this is the class that you add, that you want a navigation bar. So now I have fixed it at the top. If you don't use these things, right, and all those things, then you will also get a navigation bar, but it won't look much attractive, right? Let's save this file, and let's remove all those things, right? So this is a navigation bar. We want simple navigation bar. That's it, right? Now you see. So this is the simple navigation bar that you will get without getting anything else. Okay, so now you see we have this space at top. We don't want that space at the top. Okay, so which class you will add? You will add navbar hyphen fixed hyphen top. Okay, you added this. Now the space at the top will be removed. Okay, you see I have fixed it at the top. Okay, and now even if I scroll this thing up and down, it won't go away, right? It is fixed at the top, right? These are the properties that I added with just adding a one class that is fixed at top. Now you want a default, you don't want this color, you want a default color. Okay, you want a default navigation bar. So I will just add what? I will just add navbar hyphen default. right? I just save this thing and I will just run this. Okay, so now you see the blue color that was looking very ugly, I just removed it, right, with the help of default. Now I don't see these things very attractive, right? These are just very blurred to me. Now what I will use just inverse. I will use just navbar hyphen inverse, and it will just inverse the colors. Okay, I save this file and now it looks much more attractive, right? I just inverse the colors. The color which was at the front went to the back, and then we replaced it. Okay, cool. So now this is about navbar, right? And now what are the things that we all have also included? So we have included a container here again, and in that we have this navbar header. So what is this navbar header doing? Okay, so what is this navbar header doing? So it is just adding that heading, that this imgs, it is the navbar header, and we are adding this image, right? It can be image, it can be button, it can be anything, right? So we are adding that thing in here. Okay, so if I remove this button, whatever we are doing here, let's keep it simple. Now we have added a navbar header, and we are adding this href which is going nowhere, and we have added a nav brand. So everything that we write in this nav header, right, this nav header, everything that is written up to this point are written in this nav header. Okay, everything, right, this is written in your nav header. Okay, so this is your nav header. Okay, so you just added nav brand, that is imgs. You can add some images, you can add icons, all those things can be added here. Okay, so this is your navbar header, and then I want to add this collapse navbar. Okay, if I don't add this, now let's see what happens. Now what else did we do? What else did we saw? We saw a new this ul tag, right, unordered list, and in this unordered list we added navbar nav. Okay, you don't get confused with these names. Even the developers who are programming in Bootstrap, right, they are also confused. So what does this class do, this navbar nav? It just adds your these icon, that items on the left side. Okay, if you want to add it on the right side, you have to include one more class. You see this navbar nav right, then you see this about and contact will be on the left side, and this sign up and login will be on the right side. Okay, so now apart from that, I have removed everything, right, which was not, which we haven't discussed. Okay, so now let's save, and now let's run this thing. Now you see how it looks. You see about and contact on the right side. Now when I save this thing, when I run this thing, now you see you might be thinking we have removed a lot of things, right, but still we won't there is no effect on it, right? This is the case because all those things were responsible for the responsiveness. Okay, all the other things were responsible for the responsiveness. So now you see, as soon as I hit something, this is a large, this is medium, and then as soon as I hit the small, now you see my marketing message is gone. So my marketing message is gone, and I get this image and all the icons here. Now I don't want it like this. I want a hamburger sign on it. Okay, so what I will do, I will include some more classes. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, so you will include some more nav classes. So the first nav class you will include is this thing that we removed. Okay, so now I want it to collapse, navbar collapse. Okay, collapse id, and then this id will be used by to target. Let's remove for this. If you will remove at this particular point, if you remove this, it won't be affected, but we will be targeting this later. Okay, so now when I save this file, and now I will just again and now when I hit this screen, okay, when I hit the small screen, now you see I didn't get that sign, right? I didn't get that icons, those icons I didn't get, those home, about us, we didn't get that because we made it collapse. But where are those? For that we need another thing, right? And this id will be targeted, and we will target this id. With the help of this id, we will target these elements. Okay, so now when I press this thing, and now what we will be having a button which is just like which will be a button, and it will be like a hamburger or a burger, right? It will have a sign like that, and these are the spans that will be adding the icon bar sign, that the slash sign, and these will be the things. Okay, so now let's save this file, and what I was talking about, it will be clear to you with this thing. Now let's save this file, and now let me again just decrease its size. Okay, so now you see we have this file. Okay, now I'm decreasing its size. Now you see this hamburger sign, right? And now if I click on this thing, now I will get this about contact sign up. Usually this thing happens. Now you see these lines, these are all because of these spans. If I remove all of these spans and I will add only one icon bar, now you will see that there will be only one icon bar on it. Okay, I'll save this. You see only one icon bar, and now I will reduce this thing, only one icon. It doesn't look good, right? I want to, you usually have 3 or 4, right? So now this is the navigation. This is the bar I was talking about, the hamburger sign. Now let's control Z it. Okay, so this is the button that we have, and the type of it is button. We added the navigation toggle sign. Then once we will click on it and then toggle it on and off, like just like on and off. And this is data toggle. The collapse is done once we will click on it, and then we are targeting this BS nav demo. So we are targeting these UL items. So this is what ID does for you, this ID sign, ID, right? We created an ID and we are targeting it. Okay, so these are all the things, and we have just completed our navigation bar. And once we will run it for the final time, and this is how your image gallery looks like. Okay, so now this is all done in Bootstrap 3. I want you guys to run this thing and do it in Bootstrap 4. And the CSS that I included was very simple. I added a body tag. I added a padding of 70 pixel. On Jumbotron I added some colors. Background color was changed. On Navbar some color I changed. Image I made it 100% so that it looks beautiful, right? And also the Navbar inverse I added color white, so that's why the inverse color happened. Because of that the color changed, right? It changed to white, and then the earlier what the background was, that was the color of that. The color text color was changed to white. Okay, so same thing happened on the brand as well. Okay, so these are the two files, the final two files of ours. Okay, rest we can just close these files. Okay, so these are the two files. Now I have shared each and everything with you on the slides that is present on the slides, and you guys can check it, and you just have to use that slide just like a jigsaw puzzle, right? And add all the things that I have shared with you, and the final output will look something like this. Okay, you will have your image gallery, add different images, add a different marketing message. You can add the different marketing message in your Jumbotron. You can add different images here. Okay, now you can just play around it and convert this Bootstrap 3 into Bootstrap 4. That's how you learn it. Okay, so this is it from this session. Thank you so much guys. I hope you enjoyed the session. Right, this is the Navbar that I was talking about. I have shared with you guys. The Jumbotron code is also shared. The Navbar code is also shared. Okay, and that's it, right? So we created our image gallery. Is this the source code? Yes, this is the source code I have shared with you. Just add these things in your one by one, step by step guide is there also in the slides that have been shared with you. Okay, guys. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel, and you will get notifications about when we are having different sessions. All right, so thanks a lot guys. I hope you enjoyed this session. So if you have any questions, you can just post them in the chat section. And if you have no idea about HTML, CSS, JavaScript or Bootstrap, there is a different individual sessions that I have taken. You guys can refer to those. Okay, great. So all right, I don't see any questions. So thanks a lot guys. Take care, stay safe, bye.